the post-market analysis of 5th of June, RBI policy day. So as we discussed in the pre-market analysis, almost the similar. In fact, everything is same related to the taxation we discussed, related to inflation forecast we discussed, growth projection we almost discussed the same, and then we have discussed there is no rate cut, exactly the same. And I've already shown the trade that we have taken. You can watch that. We have decoded the governor's speech, and we have taken a trade on the put side immediately after announcing the policy, and we were able to capture the top. Okay, now if you look at, let me discuss what happened today. If you look at the chart, you can see market opened and it's a gap up because US markets were positive and everything else was positive. So market opened, gap up, and they filled the gap and then gave a bounce. And there is a technical bounce you can see from 20 MA. RBI governor started talking positive initially, so you got the bounce, and then once rate cut, the policy rate, as we discussed and expected, it's unchanged. So then it became a non-even day. And what are the other measures? I'll tell you. We have given forecast about inflation also, which is not good news. And in future there can be rate hike. That's how market will interpret. And we got the dip. So you can see there is an up move of 100 point, gap up, and then up. That is 100 point, and there is a small dip, and then again 100 point, and then you got a 200 point dip. Then again 200 point bounce, then again a 200 point dip, and broke the low, made a new low. So if you see this low, initially low, they made a new low, so lower low, and then they broke that low, made a lower low. So that is how, this is the first low, they have broken that here, they made a new low, and they have broken that here, they made a new low. Now if you look at the high, so this is a double top, right? And from there it started coming. So if you take this as one point, then the next high is less below that. So this is a lower high. So it's clearly a lower low. Look at this, lower low and lower high. This is high, lower high, lower high, lower high. So you can see clearly a trend line is coming, which is downtrending. Now things are not looking that great, right? So, and closing also, if you see below 23,400. So every day you are getting close below the previous day. So that way also the lower low structure is actually intact, which means market is actually trending downside. So RBI policy outcome is nothing beyond expectation. Interest rates kept unchanged, maintained status quo, and what we expected is the same. So it became a non-even day, and then the existing weakness is what we have witnessed, along with the inflation possibility. Additional RBI measure that we discussed yesterday pre-market also, and today pre-market also. Okay, so that is related to the, in fact, RBI announced the measure that market had been, we have seen this for last few days. I discussed this in yesterday's pre-market. I discussed this possibility in today's pre-market, and I explained this technically also, detail also, the tax differential also, and how it can benefit, and everything I've discussed already in today's pre-market. So the tax on interest income, which is earned by FIAs investing in government securities, the G-Secs, has been removed. And this was expected basically to encourage the foreign inflows. And when foreign inflows come, that will strengthen rupee also. That will add to forex. So more supply of dollar will be there. So that will strengthen rupee and will overall improve the sentiment. But in fact, market reaction was not encouraging. Market reacted not in a good way. We have seen that volatility, and rupee also. That is one of the positive outcome of this measure. Rupee, in fact, appreciated around 70-80 paisa, and the policy measure basically may help to benefit rupee, the rupee dollar trade that is getting affected. So the strength in the rupee was actually not reflected in our equity market. Equity market kept on making the big fall, and then the bounce is not that great, or it didn't came to that high, and then again they made a lower high, lower low structure. FII selling is also continuing. I don't know exact figure, but FII is sold, right? There is no indication that FII stopped selling. So the exact figure, I can get the data tomorrow and then I'll discuss. So I think FIIs won't give that much, because FII is now selling because of AI theme. They are looking to invest in, they are selling here and they are selling India, and they are buying some other markets. So it doesn't matter you are giving these interest income, you are giving such kind of small measures. Even if you reduce capital gains tax, just because of rupee depreciation itself, they are losing 5% in the last 6 months and 10% over last 1 year. So there is no point FIIs to be in India. Other markets are giving better returns, At the same time, other markets have currency stability also. So again, if you look at the tax relief, that is applicable only to the government securities investment, and that is not directly connected to the equity investment, right? So their shares in equity, you are not getting such kind of benefits. G6 may not be withdrawn, maybe they'll keep it, right? But actually, there is not much link between this announcement and the stock market inflows. There is see, on one side, government securities, we invest in government securities and use that for option selling and all those things. That is different, getting the margin. But FII is mostly equity investments. What they're selling, they first sell in futures and they sell in equities. So this measure is not going to do much for FII. So that is very much clearly visible and it is reflected in the market. They might have sold, of course. I'm not sure about exact figure, that we can discuss tomorrow. And Nifty now you see repeatedly breaking 23,300, although it was able to claim back and close at around 23,360 level. But yesterday also it broke. Day before, I think they broke 200 also at one point. Previous day also. So that is very important level. Let me show you once again. That shows that weakness, right? So if you see this day, it broke 200. Yeah, it is bouncing from, sorry, 300 I'm talking about. So it opened below 300, went here above and then broke again and then again recovered. This day clearly broke 300 and even 200 at one point. Look at this, at one point it broke 200 and came to 140, 150 level and then bounced. Now yesterday also, yeah, here it broke 300, gap down and then broke and then again recovered. Now today also, here it broke 300 and then recovered. So last 4 days, if you see, Nifty consistently breaking 300, which is actually not a good sign, right? But every time recovery is also there, and every time they were able to close about 23,400, but not today. So today, not that great. So things are not looking good, and today it's very clear, right? Let me show you once again, because these are patterns which are giving you clear idea. Look at this. This is clearly a trend line which is indicating high, lower high, lower high, lower high. So clearly a trend line is what you can see here. Okay, so that means it's actually not looking good. So you see, even afternoon only the main breakdown happened. This low has been broken. Even after European markets were positive at this point of time, but still, we broke the low, right? So again, Nifty couldn't close above 23,400. That is also this day they made it. This day they closed above 400, even 500. Yesterday also they closed above 400, but today not. So that's again not a good sign. So you can see there is no higher high, higher low structure. It is now looks like lower high and lower low structure. Yesterday it was, see again, yesterday it was higher high, right? Let me show you that also. But now things have changed. So yesterday, if you see, it's a kind of, this is a high. They made a new high. They tried to make a new high. And again, they made a new high. At least higher high is there, if not, higher lows, because this is a low, higher low. But again, they broke that. They broke it further. But it took support at these levels. Today also it took support here. S3 support, R3 rejection, R3 rejection. All these are there. But today it's clearly, you can see lower high and they keep on making lower lows also. Yesterday it was kind of higher high, which was good, right? So yesterday there was some improvement in the structure, but today it looks like things are getting weak, right? Now, despite all this tax relief measure, maybe people might have expected that FIIs will buy, but they are not buying. As I told you, the reason also, there is no follow through buying for that. So things are now looking difficult. So these are the main things that I want to discuss. I think I've already posted the live trade video and it became a non-event day. Market sentiment is now looking negative. Psychologically also now looking negative. But if they break the 23,300 and 200 level, it can go to 23,000. Okay, so good amount of call writing is coming now at 23,500. 23,500 is now going to be a major resistance for this expiry. 23,600 also, right? 23,600 is the buffer that you actually keep. And GDP forecast, not a big issue, not a big deal. and GDP data released after market close also. So that I'll discuss Monday. So actual GDP is around 7.8. Market was expecting 7.2. That is actually above the expectation, which is a very good sign. But it came post market. Now we need to look at what is happening in US markets and the global development and rest of the things that we discuss in the pre-market in the upcoming days. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much. I see you on Monday with the pre-market analysis. If you would like to join us for the live market mentoring session, talk to our team, join the session. We have the live market mentorship program where I trade and I teach with my trades. It's not a trade call providing program. It's a learning program where I take all the trades, I'll show all the trades, I'll explain all the trades, I'll talk about the stop loss, I talk about the trailing stop profits and trailing stop loss targets, how we book the profit and everything in live market so that you can learn better. So see you there.